Joining us now, Tom Lee, Fundstrat, Global Advisors, Head of Research. Probably not coming as a big surprise to you, Tom. You've been saying similar things, but one of the things you're emphasizing today, the most hated V-shape bounce in history, or at least in your young, but getting older life.
Yes, that's right. I think many people, when April happened and we had Tariff Armageddon and the market went into a free fall, investors liquidated because they thought we were entering a recession. But, and as you guys had covered, like the market then staged a V-shaped recovery, which caught many people off guard because they wanted to have a chance to get in. They wanted the stock market to be like a K-shaped or flat line. Instead, it was a V-shaped bounce. And so most investors are underexposed at the moment, and they're trying to look at headlines with a half-empty view. But as you guys know, earnings have actually been really resilient, and I think it tells a very good story.
Yeah, Dow's hasn't been hitting. It hit a new high, but it hasn't in the recent session. But S&P and Nasdaq continue to do pretty well. So there is also a perception, Tom, that valuations have returned to levels that have people worried, and you are citing an equity-weighted S&P multiple. Explain that.
Yes.
Of what? What's the equity-weighted multiple right now?
Yeah, what we're saying is instead of someone saying, oh, the MAG is making the market expensive, let's just take the average PE of the S&P of every stock, and it was around 17.6 times in 2019. Now we've had 6 what I call extinction-like events, COVID, the bullwhip supply chain effect, inflation surge, Fed fastest hikes, Trump tariffs, and then, of course, U.S. bombing Iran.
6 of them, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all of them should have wiped out earnings, but the S&P earnings have grown, and yet the equal weight PE is now 16 times. So the market's gotten cheaper in the last 6 years, despite proving they can grow earnings through 6 extinction-level events.
The Mag 7, though, there was a journal article that says there's a real split between the Mag 7, those that are really doing well from AI and those that aren't. And if you look at the stock performances, I think Apple's down something like 16 or 18% over the last year, while you have Microsoft and others that have really taken off. Do you think the Mag 7 stays together, or do we need a new terminology, a new grouping for leadership in the markets?
Yeah. I mean, to me, the Mag 7 have become household names. Apple is Apple, and Google is Google, and we know the product and we know the stock. And I think they have really established themselves as consumer and business companies. And for me, Apple has been sort of quietly ready to pounce on AI, but I don't think they need to pay up for any of these models. So I think Apple is going to surprise people.
That's interesting. That's a contrarian viewpoint. People think Apple either is too far behind or just isn't going to be able to get the talent that it was. It's losing talent, not getting it.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't launch an iPhone until 2007, and mobile phones had been around for 15 years. But when they did enter that market, they completely transformed the marketplace. So to me, I think when they want to play big in AI, and when they do in that moment, I think they will change the game.
Well, so the question, though, is do you think that historically they've been able to do that because it's been a hardware game, largely, and a bit of software? I don't want to say the software is not a huge part of it. But the question is whether you think the LLMs have become so advanced that to get there, you actually either have to buy somebody else to do it, or you can actually catch up. I mean, that's the fundamental question underneath all of this.
Yeah, and it's also possible that LLMs all get so good that they are about the same.
Right.
And then Apple
gets commoditized.
Correct. And so then Apple comes in and says, look, we have our safety. Look, we're known for our safety rails, protecting your privacy, optimizing what you want to do, make your life better. And they might come out with a version that really, makes heads spin. So I think that I'm not ruling out Apple just because they're a little late.
What do you make, by the way, there's some speculation over the weekend, some reports about the first real Apple foldable phone this fall. Would you buy a foldable phone?
Yeah, I mean,
Big market in China, by the way. People in China seem to love foldable phones.
I think what I found is when you offer someone a bigger screen size, you're pushing them more towards computing and something much higher capability. And with AI, we might want some of that augmented kind of reality. So maybe the time is right for, a foldable phone. And again,
I'm sorry. We got a minute left after last week in the Genius Act, and you suddenly are. I don't know whether I look at you as Mr. Equity guru or crypto guru. Are you able to do both? You have been. You're going to continue this?
Yes. Fundstrat clients know my goal is to find them good ideas and make them money. And now I want to do that with shareholders. I am dedicated to delivering a great return for anyone who invests in any of our ideas, including whether it was our granny shots, which is outperforming year to date and almost 1.9 billion of AUM after 8 months. And now with BitMine, I am dedicated to really making this one of the best performing stocks.
People need to. We don't have time to go into exactly how that works, but here we are, 120 basically on Bitcoin, which you used to say at 70, and that was a 60% move or something that you were forecasting as within the next couple of months, or at least this year. Here we are now, what, 150?
I think the 200 to 250,000 for Bitcoin still makes sense because that would still only value it at 25% of the size of the gold market.
Okay.
So I think digital gold means Bitcoin should be worth over $1 million per Bitcoin, and it could happen in the next few years. But maybe pricing 25% of that, especially with Genius Act, makes sense.
Are you going to, start making comments and recommendations about stable coins?
Yes. I mean, in a sense, stable coins are the ChatGPT moment for crypto because businesses like it and consumers are adopting it. And now we see JP Morgan and Citi and getting into the stablecoin market, and the Genius Act, of course.
How would you play that?
Well, Circle is one way because it is, a standout company. They've done really well. But Ethereum is really the way to play stablecoins because the majority of stablecoins are created on Ethereum. It's over 30% of its network fees. And if Scott Bessent's right in it, he says now it's close to a $4 trillion market. That's exponential growth for Ethereum.
Ether has taken off recently. It was down at 1,700 or something like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Yes.
Now it's back almost, 36 or something?
That's right. And I know Mark Newton, our head of technicals, thinks it's 5,000's doable near term, but if you value it similar to Circle, it's more between 10 and 20,000.
You give a rat's patootie about August 1st? Does anything change with that for you?
Well,
a new month.
Yes.
Is that that's what you're gonna? That's your answer? Well, it's a new month. Yeah.
I mean, I think that on the half full, the tariffs are really good for the budget. So, and companies are managing through these now, and they're pretty significant now. And it's not inflation. They're not talking about it as inflation. So that's the half full. But you're right. Maybe August 1st gets pushed again, and that would also be positive.